Let me talk about one of the disease which is really unknown, but is affecting millions of patients around the world. It's called irregular cornea. And what you see here is actually, you see the surface of the cornea is completely deformed. This may be due to natural causes sometimes, others is trauma, and others also you might have heard about keratoconus. And what happens when you have this kind of cornea is that the rays enter your eye in a completely different path than what it should be. So you don't have one image, you have several images in your retina, creating actually this kind of views of vision for the patients. They have glare, they have halos, and actually some of them are even declared legally blind. What we are developing as a technology is actually a smart contact lens with nanotechnology inside of it. And this thin layer of electronics, which is actually a third of a human hair, we have a radio frequency antenna, an ASIC, which is the brain. We have a battery, and in the middle, for the first application, we have these rings that we can customize. And I will show you how we help the patients with this technology. We are also developing a charger because, of course, the device needs to be charged every night as it's cleaned. And we can also use this charger to program the device and customize the device for the patient. So what we have actually from a patient point of view is a dynamic pinhole that we can adapt for every patient. We can customize this in a fixed way, in an autonomous way. We can link to the light of the ambience because we have sensors in the contact lens about the light. And we can also let the patient decide how they are going to use it, because it's not the same thing if they want to read, they want to drive, or they want to walk in the park. And actually, by selecting the rays that enter into the eye, you can focus on only one point and clarify the image for the patient. How are these patients treated today? Actually, these patients, they can use, let's call it classic contact lenses. There are different brands and different segmentations, but these devices are not bringing the patient to what we call the 20/20 vision. Actually, these devices can move the patient from the left, which is with no correction, to the middle, which is with these fantastic scleral contact lenses today in the market. But as you can see, even though there is a clear increase of visual acuity, they are not reaching 20/20. If you add our device, you can gain 2 or 3 lines of vision and reach levels of 20/20, which is what we all have when we go to the ophthalmology. There is a clear go-to-market strategy and commercialization strategy because these patients, of course, are not treated in the corner shop of the optician. They go to specific centers, very concentrated. In the States, for example, there are 200, and each of these centers are managing 2,000 patients each. So you really have the point and the focus place where you can see all these patients together. There are differences in the addressable market between Europe and the States, mainly due to reimbursement, because in the States, these devices actually in the market, they are reimbursed around $5,000. So it's already a nice market. In Europe, we are still behind on terms of reimbursement. And where are we as a company? Actually, we are an IMEC and UGENT spin-off that we created in 2001. And then we put in place the Seed series with 6 million, and we developed the working prototypes. And now we are working on the Series A. We have a first closing already in place. We are aiming to get 10 million as a total, and we are going to do the first closing in 7 million. So there is still 3 million that can be interesting for some of you listening today. With this series, what we will get is the results of a first in human, which will be the input to give to the FDA and get an IDE approval that we will develop in Series B. Now, we are not going to stop on irregular cornea, which is a nice market, very easy to start with because there is a clear unmet need and you don't need a lot of patients to develop. We will go beyond this, because when you know how to put electronics and nano-electronics inside a contact lens, you can do a lot of things. For example, we can focus on photophobia patients because we have a way to, let's say, control the light of what the patients are using. We can also focus on presbyopia, which is the holy grail of ophthalmology today, because with a pinhole, we can do an extended depth of field, and we can eventually change and take out the rings and put the drug delivery system, for example, for glaucoma, or we can also think about how to treat patients with diabetes, detecting what is on the eye in terms of glucose. So there's a lot of applications that we will have in place. And one that I wanted to show you actually is first, how do we treat presbyopia with this actual contact lens is actually that as you start closing and creating the pinhole, you are extending the depth of field and you are clarifying the image. But we have also other pipeline applications that we will develop with a more sophisticated system, where you can see here is a Fresnel lens with LCD created by IMEC in the same lab that we did the spin-off, and we are collaborating with them to include this kind of technology in our contact lens, and then the patient will be able to autofocus and then decide that he's going to read and the device will adapt, or he's going to look to the far away and the device will adapt. So we are already working on the next generation. We have a fantastic team in terms of the employees. We are 11 employees with my co-founder, Andres, which is the inventor of the technology. These are the actual investors, the board members and actual investors, and we have already a network, very big network of physicians, both in Europe and the United States, that they're helping us to define the strategy and get in contact with the FDA. So as a sum up, we might become the first contact lens. There's a lot of noise about contact lenses, but today there is no contact lens in the market with an autonomous, a smart contact lens, I'm meaning, with an autonomous and a battery that you can move and do your life with it. And we might be the first one. We have a solid IP already in place. We did the seed series for 6 million and putting in place now the Series A, 7 million for the first closing, and we are aiming to get to 10. And of course, we are aiming to reach revenues of 150 million in year 5 after commercialization with the first application. Thank you very much.